Well, just want to thank everyone for jumping on and such short notice. And today's not about NC State football. It's about Ruffin McNeill joining our program and our excitement. Pleasure to have him a part of what we're doing here. It's been a long time that he and I have known each other. I know that's been documented already, but you know, when you've been coaching 20 plus years and you have somebody that you look up to in your tree and have for a long time, like Ruff for me, and then to be able to come to work every day and have him be a part of what we're doing, it's a blessing. And very thankful to him and Erlene for being a part of what we're doing. And, you know, the way this all worked out, it's been a blessing, I think, for him too, to be able to come home and be around his father and back in the state where I know he's very loved, and been such positive responses already, you know, with him joining the Wolfpack. And I know his presence is going to be felt not just by our athletes, but by our staff and our university and our boosters and our fan base. So thank you, Ruffin, for being a part of it. And this is your show, man. I want to let everybody hit you up on what's going on with you and look forward to getting you in here with me in person soon, buddy.
Same here, Dave. Looking forward to it. Just following Dave, just glad to be a part. Dave and I, like he mentioned, has been well documented. Our relationship, our friendship began a long time ago, I think in California. And both of us meeting and Dave having to exchange film and go through packages with him. We kept in touch for years. And Dave has always checked on me when things were difficult times and as friends. And then we got a chance to coach, see each other in competitive situations. But the friendship was way above the competitive situation in every instance. And when having a chance to come back and be home, Dave, the moment I mentioned that from Oklahoma, Dave didn't call about a job. He just called to make sure I was all right, my dad was all right. And that's just how it's been. And but now to work out where I have a chance to come in and be a part and be any kind of assistant to Dave, the coaches, the people, the kids, the people in the program, all through the program, alumni, and assist Dave in whatever means necessary. I'm honored and pleasured, looking forward to it.
All right, Aaron Beard, I see that you have a question.
Yeah. Hey, Ruff, good to see you back.
Hey, Aaron, how you doing?
Long time. You mentioned being home, and you mentioned your family connection. I'm curious how much of you had said when you left Oklahoma that you weren't done with coaching necessarily. You know, that it wasn't like a retirement, you were done. But I guess the opportunity to be back in your home state, your dad, your family connections, and be in an FBS conference or a Power 5 conference in your home state, would this been an opportunity? Like, would you have gone to another school, or was it kind of the right opportunity to come back to the state?
Well, it was more the right opportunity with the right people. You know, that's always been a threshold for me is the program, but being right people. Being with Dave is, like I mentioned, our friendship has been sincere. It hasn't been anything but that, and to have a chance to have him in state is a double bonus. Dave understood why I was coming home to check and be around, help my brother take care of my dad, and be able to be a son again that way. And he and I shared experiences along that same line. So he understood exactly why I came home, Aaron, and what I was about. And then to be able to drive whatever 30 minutes and have a chance to work again for the people I work for and the person I work for, and with the always have been in the forefront of any decision. So this worked out in perfect concert with me being back home in the state, able to see my dad, and then have a chance to work for Dave.
Brett Friedlander.
Hey, Ruff, how you doing?
Hey, Brett, how you doing, brother?
Doing okay, man. This question is for both you, and if Coach Doran could also address it. What exactly is your role going to be, or has that been determined yet? What kind of duties that you'll have?
Dave lead off of that one. It'll be everything, huh?
Yeah, you know, for me, when the season ended and going through, you know, the months of thinking about ways to improve what I do, improve our program, It's always great as a head coach to have someone on your staff that has sat in your chair. And I had that availability when Ted Roof was on our staff. As you know, Ted was a head coach. And for me, I think every assistant, every person that works for me comes in and gives me ideas. None of them have had the that I've had. And so just timing was kind of perfect. I talked to Jerry Kill, who had done this last season at Virginia Tech and is now doing it at TCU for Coach Patterson, and asked him about it, talked to Justin about, what it did for him. And to me, it was a no-brainer, and it was really just about finding the right person. Came up with the idea prior to Ruff, being really out there, and just had been going through it with our administration. And Fred Demarest, who you guys know, had seen this happen at Florida on the basketball side with Billy Donovan, and thought it was a great way for me to have somebody that I can go to. Coaching as a head coach, a lot of times you don't get a coach. There's a lot of things that pull you out of your chair, and having somebody that knows how to deal with those things like Ruffin, for me, it's going to allow me to be more present when I want to be, and just have really a sounding board. I don't think you can list off the number of things that a head coach has to do, but having the confidant that can stand next to you and be a part of those decisions, and whether he agrees with me or doesn't, I know he's going to be honest with me and give me feedback that I can listen to, absorb, marinate on, and he will do that. I look forward to those conversations.
Thanks.
Brian Bailey. Are you muted, Brian?
I'm good now, thank you. Got me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Coach Ruff, have you talked to Coach Dorn about how to put 70 on the Tar Heels yet?
No, we just been talking about other ideas and whatever he needs from me, but no, we haven't discussed any strategic tack thoughts yet.
How about an update on your dad? How's he doing?
Yeah, doing better. I say better, but talking through a glass, talking through a door, and it's been great. But Erlene enlightened me last time, Brian, was how happy he was to see us drive up. The nurses have been great. The quarantine is still there, but to be able to drive an hour, if that, and be at the rehabilitation center to see him has been a blessing. And that just correlates with the job. And Dave understood that. Like I mentioned before, Brian, Dave, it wasn't about the job. Dave just called when he heard everything about me coming back home about that, about how's my dad. And it's been that way the whole time. And then we began, as we got around, and this next move or next position came available, but my dad was great. And then what helps that is Dave understands and understood the exact reason why I was coming back to North Carolina.
Jared from RAL.
Coach Ruff, awesome to see you back. This question's for Coach Doran. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody that's almost as universally loved as Coach Ruffin is, from the media to his former players, things like that. What does somebody with his character, his personality, bring to your locker room?
The guy's just every time I talk to him, I smile, and I think that was the one thing for me is the power of positivity and surrounding myself with people that generate that in people. And I know Ruffin does that, and there's nothing that's not genuine about him. And I think that's exactly what our staff needs. It's what our players need. I'm sure every team could say the same. He is, in my opinion, one of the most positive, and he's also one of the most honest. Whether you want to hear it or not, he's going to tell you the truth. And I think those things are great for staff members. They're great for young people. And so, for me to have someone else that I know is going to help young people be the best versions of themselves that they can be and give himself to them, I know Ruff will do that. and that's what I want. You know, there wasn't any agenda that came along with this. It was just, you know, me trying to get a great human being to be a part of our program and help us be better at what we do, and it's a win-win.
JB Ricks.
Hey guys, thanks so much for taking out time for us. Coach McNeill, welcome back to North Carolina. This is
Thanks, JB.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is a two-part question, one part for Coach Doran and the other part for you. It's basically just about recruiting. Coach Doran, what do you think Coach McNeill can bring to the recruiting aspect of your coaching staff? And obviously for you, Coach McNeill, what do you think you can bring to NC State when it comes to recruiting, especially your ties, you know, in this state from your days at ECU?
Well, you know, I've always felt like recruiting is about relationships, and obviously that's a strength of Ruffs, and I know he's going to have thousands of relationships he's already got with high school coaches that are out there. But more than anything, I think when people are allowed to start visiting our campus again, that's one of the things I'm most proud of is the type of people that we have at NC State on our staff, and Ruff adds to that mix and allows, you know, a mother, a father, a mentor, a recruit to sit down with a great human being that works for our university and talk about the advantages it brings. And for him being a native of the state and have worked at so many of the universities, not just here, but in the country, I think he just gives them a great point of reference to ask questions to.
JB, I agree with Dave. You know, the fact that I'm from North Carolina, had a chance to work here, work throughout the state, you know, played high school, college football within the state, having a chance to meet people when they come on campus, which will be the first time I'll have a chance not to go visit, but to be in place when they do come to be a reference. And, you know, I think, Dave, and I mentioned how our relationship carries on. I think our philosophy of taking care of young men and making sure they reach the highest possible goals and more are both our goals, and that's what makes us unique. Also, you know, I've always felt, I know Dave does too, is a parent's most prized possession is their child, and again, able to help Dave and the staff and young men come and see the real side, the truth. And that's what we're going to provide, is the truth part of it. And I'm looking forward to that challenge. I'm looking forward to that opportunity, really, to be a part of it, and looking forward to attacking it.
Thank you both.
Thank you, JB.
Andrew Schnicker.
This could be a question for either of you. With the way things are going right now with the COVID pandemic and all the discussions around college football, I mean, my question would just be kind of, how are either of you feeling about everything going forward with us getting closer to what would normally be the start of fall camp and getting towards the season? Do you feel like things are in a good position for things to start normally? Do you feel like it's safe, or do you feel like we're in a position where we might see things start to get pushed back?
I think Dave would be good to do that, and I'll add on if necessary.
You know, Andrew, this call is more about Ruffin joining the staff. And to be honest, I'm not an expert on what's going to happen next with COVID-19. We're doing everything we can do to help these players and staff members be ready for whatever comes our way. But right now on the calendar, we play Louisville, and that's what we're preparing to do until they tell me we're not.
I don't see anybody else's hand, so if you can't put your hand up but you have a question, Alyssa, you have something?
Yeah, Coach McNeill, just what are you most excited for? Come to the ACC and be in this conference. You kind of been watching from afar, but to be part of it, a lot of rivalries going on. What are you most excited for?
Well, you know, first, and listen, thank you for the question. Thanks for being on. One thing is getting around our staff. I think if you've been around or know me pretty good, is I believe in controllables and uncontrollables, and focus on the controllable things more than anything else. Even avoid the uncontrollable, more the controllables, and that's get to know our staff, get to know our players, how they feel, how they think. Again, assisting Dave, whatever he may need, or be a sounding board. That chair, like Dave mentioned, I've sat in that chair before. Listen, it's a 3-legged stool. It's not 4-legged. It rocks back and forth sort of awkwardly. And ever try to sit on a 3-legged stool. That's what it is. So I hope it'll be a balancing leg for that stool for him. And then, you know, from that point on, then I think if everybody thinks that same way, which I know they do, as far as staying focused on what's at hand, the controllables. How good can we get? How well can we keep our team concept and team development and stay focused on that? And I think that'll be some key factors that will help me.
Jonas Pope, you have something?
Yes, this question is for Coach McNeill. I know you said when you moved back to North Carolina, you were in constant conversation with Coach Doran, but it wasn't about football necessarily. But when he offered you this position, was it something you had to think about, or you jumped at it right away when he made the position available? Well,
you know, it was when you're dealing with someone and you have conversations with people you've known, friends, dear friends, Jonas, and you know that. The fact that the very first call was one of my first call when I was coming home was from Dave. And it's been that way in other situations, that jobs I've left or what have you. He's always reached out to make sure. But this one was a personal one and something both of us could identify with. And coming home, and when he offered it, it was something that we both felt was the right time. You know, he knew my main goal coming home was to be a son again. I've been coaching for 39 years, 39 seasons, Jonas, and it's a long time. And we talked about that and talked about other things, but the chance when Dave offers a chance to work with not just a friend, but a dear friend, and a person who we both have known each other. You know, a lot of times trust is not just one way. It's trust, and there's verification of trust. I think Dave and I have verification of trust between each other, which is a whole different thing. So that was major for us, John, major for me, and I know for Dave.
Brett, you had a follow-up?
Yes, Ruff, have you taught Coach Doran any of your Ruffisms and famous acronyms?
Well, he knows I'm as country as a Roy Cohen. So every time I talk to him, he's probably laughing at my accent. And, you know, a lot of times our conversations, Brett, were serious when it came to my dad and how Sarah and the family kids were doing. And he knows Earlene and my family. But then it's always something funny. And most of the time it's me saying something with my accent. And, but no, he's probably heard a few of them. But I'm sure he'll get a chance to get a couple of them here pretty soon.
Just make sure you don't microwave it.
Yeah, he won't microwave it. No microwave.
JB, you have a follow-up?
Yeah, this was just for Coach McNeill. As far as now that you're joining the staff, is there a particular group of players or a position group that you're most looking forward to work with your new role?
Well, JB, another great question. First, it'll be to be there for Dave and the staff. And Dave knows that my next primary goal will be to get around those kids in the safest way possible. But JB, get around them quickly, the entire team. And offensively, defensively, special teams wise, first team to fourth team, doesn't matter. But to be around those kids in that type of position, to be an ear, be a listening ear, perhaps when they want to hear experiences that possibly I've been through, if needed, experiences to maybe help handle something outside of football, JB, just to make sure I'm a sounding board for the youngsters as well. But my first duty would be there for Coach Doran and help balance that three-legged stool out for him.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome, JB.
Anybody else have a question? Rod Baxley.
Yeah, this can be for Coach McNeill and Coach Doran. I'm just wondering with you guys, all of your shared experiences of those, is there any story that really sticks out in your mind when you think about the relationship you guys have?
Dave, you want to go first?
You know, I don't know if there's one that I can tell that I would want you to write. I mean, you know, most of the things we've done are things you would expect coaches have done. Again, to me, it's just there's certain people you meet in this business, and Ruffin is one of those for me that when I was a GA at Southern Cal, you're kind of the lowest men in the building, you know, and visiting staffs come and go, and some of them treat you like you're the lowest. Some of them treat you like you're an up-and-coming coach. And the whole staff at Fresno that Ruff was on, their defense came in and just treated me like gold. And I've always tried to stay in touch with people that showed me that kind of respect when I probably didn't deserve it. And so it really showed who he was. As I got into the Big 12, he was at Texas Tech, and immediately saw him in recruiting, and again, just smiled and talked about, you know, where I've come from, what I've done. And, you know, then watching him, you know, from afar at NIU, and then all of a sudden I'm competing against him while he's at ECU doing what he did there. I don't have a single story. I mean, it's really a collection of just what a great person he's been to me, and somebody I've looked up to. And what a great day, you know, for me and for NC State football and for the university and the state to celebrate bringing Ruffin to be a part of this, because that's what it's about. You know, it's who you go to work with, who you go to battle with, the players, you know, those guys, you recruit them and you coach them and you love them. But there's just so many really, really special memories you have with the people you work with. I'm sure you share those with your coworkers as well. And knowing that I have a sounding board and a confidant, a friend, and an established person and husband, father like Ruffin working with me, not for me, it's a great day. Really excited about what's happening here right now.
I echo the same. Too many years passed by. The stories seem to be endless. I go back, and I'm sure Dave had a lot of staffs come through, and I remember it was down in the, not basement, but the room at Southern Cal was down. I said, this coach has been in with a lot of staffs, because we're down and there's nobody, it's just us. And that first, but Dave didn't seem, you know, you know that was a part of his duties, or one of his duties. But my first impression was, hey, he's a ball coach. He understands it, and he started talking ball and delivery, understood systems, schematic, but then he was sharing everything with it. So that'd be the first one. Then, like Dave said, it's a day that we get a chance to work with each other, and I consider it for Dave and be there for him, be for the staff, for the young people, and do the best job I can, and make sure anything I can control, I can control it, and do it to the best of my ability. And I'm looking forward to that, excited about the opportunity.
Jonas, you had another question?
Yes, this one's also for Coach McNeill. I know since the announcement this morning, you probably got a lot of phone calls and texts, a lot of well wishes. Is there any one former player or former high school coach in the area who's reached out to you that stood out so far?
Yeah, well, it's Dave and I talked about it. It's going to be a busy day, just to be. I knew that when it will be announced, but I mean, players. I think that's what you get into it, and you know my background. I can tell already. You know, there's players from past teams, from teams I coached in the '90s, to the different teams, different states, Texas Tech, all different teams have said nothing but positive calls. I got about 70 texts I got to return. I'll return. I'm gonna return each one, and a bunch of phone calls. And they taught this old guy how to get on Twitter a little bit, so I'm trying to learn how to make sure I do a good job of messaging people back. And but it's been a lot of excitement. The former players are excited. No matter where I've coached them, they're excited about opportunity, because I don't think a lot of those guys, they thought I may have been out of football, retired. And like has been in the media, you guys know I did not retire, but have opportunity to be home in state, and then a chance to work for not just a great football coach, but a great person and man and Dave, and get around some kids and get around those kids and get a chance to generate any kind of positive growth that I can upon them.
All right, I don't see anybody else. Does anybody have anything? No, Coach Doran needed to run.
Thank you guys for your time. I have another call here at 3:30, so I'm going to jump off in case they have any more questions for Ruff. Thank you guys so much, and hopefully we'll see everybody in person here down the road.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
All right, boss.
I'll see you, Ruff.
Okay, Dave.
Alyssa, you had another question?
Just one more, Coach. What was your family's reaction when you told them the news? And I'm sure they're excited to get you closer to home and still get to be part of the sport you love.
Well, listen, I don't know if you knew, I got all girls. So I'm like the only, my daughter has a cat, she's a girl. My granddaughter, I got all girls. So they want me to be happy. They know that I love coaching. I love being around the young people, and I know they know I get a joy. And that's really what they care about. And now, Alyssa, being safe, staying safe, during this pandemic, that was a concern. But knowing that we're happy, we knew, Alyssa, we were going to live in this area. Well, of course, let me check that. Erlene made sure we live in this area 4 years ago. So the house we have, it was already here, and being back, it just made it better, because now we're home, and every house we have rooms designated for the girls, so they have rooms here, pre-made already, and but they were happy. My dad, I think he'll be happy when I tell him. I gotta yell it, because he's behind a window. So we'll be yelling it, and but I'm looking forward to getting around him and letting him know, Alyssa.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
Andrew, you had another one?
Yes, Coach, having been part of the game day atmosphere at Carter Finley Stadium as a visiting coach, how excited are you to be part of it as a coach for the home side?
Well, I know it's going to be an exciting venue. Again, everyone's dealing, Andrew, with the pandemic that we have right now. I know the excitement I think a lot of people be anxious to get out and support their team and support, but that's another avenue that I guess one of the questions you have, but I'm sure the excitement will be at a high level, and I'm looking forward to that part. That's a part that you never gets old for as the coaches, going to the arena, going to the Coliseum, going to the stadium.
Joe from ABC 11, you have something?
Yeah. Hey, Coach. Joe Mazer, ABC 11. Quick question, just about your father. Is he in Lumberton?
Yes, he's in Lumberton and at a rehabilitation center there, and so it makes it. This move was where we live, and the move was really like a blessing, because we can get to the 95, and I'm in Lumberton in no time, and I can be there at the facility and just a blink of the eye, really, you know. So again, it's really been a blessing, to be honest with you. I can't say it any other kind of way.
Does anyone else have anything? Rod's got one more, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, Coach, just one more. Just wondering, I know there will be a lot of people in Robinson County happy to have you back here coaching football. Who have you heard from as far as that goes down there?
Well, Sammy Batten, who I've known for a long time, growing up, going to school. And some other classmates have called that live in the Raleigh area already. They haven't mentioned tickets yet, but I'm sure that'll be something something to ask. But Sammy was one of the first that I've heard from, and you know, getting a chance to, you know, be around my dad, letting him know that will be a great moment. I'm really anxious to do that. But a lot of my former high school classmates, and even some of my former players, not necessarily from Robinson County, but live in the Raleigh area, have touched base.
Coach, we appreciate the time. I appreciate all you guys getting on here with kind of a last-minute deal. And like Coach said, I hope we see each other in person soon.
Thanks, Annabelle.